Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to episode 14 of the Camber podcast. I'm TC, and holy, what a couple of back-to-back sessions we just had there. We had the sprint race backed up with the Grand Prix qualifying. So we're just going to go over a quick review and have a little quick report in between this and the main race to separate it up a little bit and get something out to you guys quickly so we can go over it and discuss it. It's just myself today. It was an early start this morning. The sprint race was at 2:30 in the morning in Australia and 6 a.m. for qualifying. So I've woken up for quali, not for the sprint, but just for quali, and we've rewatched the sprint. And it's bloody hard. I tell you what, these days it's bloody hard to keep the scores, of any sport. When you're waking up and trying not to look at stuff on social media, it's so hard to avoid seeing and spoiling what just happened. We've also got Game 7 in the NBA playoffs going on right now, Denver and the Clippers. So I've got that on currently as we speak, and yeah, it's a good morning for sport here on Sunday. And wow, what a sprint race. McLaren as a team, they'll be happy, but as a driver, Piastri is going to be disgusted. I mean, let's just say Norris loves a safety car in Miami. He has shown on multiple occasions now, this year and last year, that a safety car is his blessing. And for those of you who don't know, Piastri was leading the whole race, not dominating, but he was, in amongst it. He was there. He was going to win, essentially, even with the safety car. So the track was turning dry. Drivers started piling in. Sonoda became 2 seconds faster on slicks than the other drivers who were still on intermediates. And then on lap 14, I think it was, Piastri boxes on 14. So at this stage of the race, Norris was under a second or around a second behind Piastri, right? So they weren't going to double stack. So because you just lose too much time in a double stack. So Norris had to wait to pit the extra lap. And then as Norris has pitted at exactly the same time, Lawson decides to punt Alonso off the track and cause a safety car. There already was debris on the track from signs hitting the wall at the chicane a few laps earlier, but they didn't do anything with that. And I was like, oh shit, Norris could be freaking sweet here because there's debris. They might bring out even a VSC might have kept him in front, but they didn't. And then essentially, Norris boxes, Alonso gets tagged, he's hard into the wall, and then they had to pull out a safety car, and it let Norris get that cheap pit stop, right? So when the safety car comes out, the field slows down, and that allows a less deficit in the pits. And Norris used that to his advantage, obviously, got out in the lead, proceeded to win under safety car. The safety car did end on the last lap, but that didn't actually mean anything because there was no racing, because the race was finished. So huge gain there for Norris. But in the end, the sprint race is only worth 8 points. Second is only worth 7 points. So it's not really going to impact a lot in the championship. But over the years, we have seen 1 point matter. So who knows? We'll see. But the other big story from the sprint was Leclerc fucking binned it on the opening out lap. So when they come out of the pits to line up on the grid, Leclerc has aquaplaned and gone into the fence down the back straight. So essentially there was a lot of standing water there, and you just have no control. And he was trying to get it back to the pit, so maybe they could have started from the pit lane if they could have got the car repaired, but that didn't work out. He had to stop, and that was essentially his race over. But yeah, it was a good race otherwise. I think there was a lot of overtakes. The rain made it interesting. The weather sort of like reminded me of Melbourne, like huge downpour. Like at the start of the race, how it got delayed, I thought that the race wasn't going to get started, and then it pulled like Miami flipped the switch or some shit. The sun has come out, and they've just all of a sudden like, oh yeah, good to go. Track dried out in like half an hour. So it was an extremely quick transition from, what essentially could have been wets at the start of the race to a dry tyre, right? So yeah, Lawson in the end did get that 5-second penalty for tagging Alonso. And then who else got a penalty? Albon got an unsafe. No, Albon got a staying above the required minimum time during the safety car. So Albon, that was the other thing, because Williams were extremely quick, but they bottled valuable points. I mean, Sainz was extremely quick as well, and he hit the wall. So the Williams there, they were excellent, but they didn't capitalize, unfortunately. So Albon got a penalty as well. And Verstappen, of course. How could we hit Verstappen's pit stop? Verstappen and Antonelli in the pit lane. What the hell were Red Bull thinking? I swear they shouldn't. Like, it was just clear as day. They just released him. And Antonelli's pit box was in front of Verstappen, so Antonelli didn't actually get to pit. He had to keep going in the pit lane because Verstappen essentially blocked him off, because if Antonelli tried to go into his pit box, it would have been probably both cars out of the race. So it was good reaction there from Antonelli. But yeah, like, it was just unbelievable, like how Red Bull, I feel like Red Bull over the years, especially recently, has been known for their, precise excellence in pit stops, and they're always the team that's, hitting the hammer on the head with strategy, pit stops, being fast. They had the repair on Verstappen's car when he crashed on the outlap in Hungary. They're known for being a good, solid team, and today they cooked that one. So what else have we got? And that was sort of the main stories, I guess, from that's probably all I want to mention. Verstappen's whose false start was it? I think it was Verstappen's, who was over the yellow line. I'm not sure what happened there, but obviously he turned out to be behind that line, or on the line, at least some side of his tyre touching that line, which cleared him from a penalty. So Ollie Bam was a huge gainer, but he did get a penalty for an unsafe release in the pits with a Sauber of Hulkenberg. So otherwise, though, he had a great race. His first lap overtake was insane. So he's a gun. He's bloody good. He is really good. So those are the main stories I wanted to talk about for the sprint race. Qualifying, another huge lap from Verstappen in qualifying. He really just pulled one out of the bag. Another Verstappen special. And these are the sorts of laps that, make him one of the greatest, because he's able to extract everything and put together a lap like that to put it on pole. And how the fuck McLaren cooked another one too is beyond me. I mean, Piastri didn't even get top 3, so go figure. So I don't know what happened there, because they were fastest in the other sessions. So it just did not make sense to me. And I think that it's going to cost Piastri dearly, because in the race, it proved to be a little bit, it depends what's happening with the weather. But I mean, if it's going to be wet, it's going to be pretty difficult to overtake. I mean, we didn't really see anyone closing gaps and overtaking in the sprint. So if the race is going to be similar conditions, I mean, Verstappen could run away with it. but just a class lap from him. Like really, just like a notch above, a notch above the rest of the field there from Verstappen. So, that's what it is. What else happened in qualifying? The Williams both into Q3, which was good. They showed excellent pace. And Hamilton out in Q2, which was another big story. I mean, the Ferrari, I think, was definitely quick enough to get into Q3. And Hamilton straight bottled it. So, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about Hamilton and how valuable he is to the sport and how his skill, he's not wasted. I don't think he's washed, but his results aren't giving, aren't supporting that. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes in the Grand Prix, whether he can make up positions or whether he's going to be one of those races where he's sort of stuck in that midfield battle. Otherwise, Mercedes were quick, which was great to see. Antonelli put in another great session. Russell also was there, and the Mercedes definitely showed some pace. I want to go back to that sprint race, because I just remembered talking about Mercedes, the turn 1 incident. Piastri in a second consecutive turn 1 incident, which was crazy to see, but I think he's safe there as the stewards cleared him. He was up the inside, clearly got a better launch, and he's doing some good race starts recently, which is good. And bombed up the inside and took first place. So hopefully Mercedes, that's actually Antonelli and Piastri again for the Grand Prix. So we will see how that one goes. Yeah, so it's Kimi and Oscar second row. And we'll see how that one goes. Lando had a decent lap, but obviously not enough. Ocon top 10 as well, which was really good. Tsunoda also top 10, but did fuck all in Q3. So I'm not sure. I feel like he can probably make up a few positions. The Red Bull probably is a bit quicker. I don't think it's first on the grid quick, but it's definitely quicker than the Haas. I'd say probably definitely the Ferrari as well. So, there's room for Tsunoda to move up in the race. So hopefully he does that. Alonso was also out in Q1, which was a shit performance from him. And Gasly, Stroll, Behrman also binned it. So, yeah, battles to watch out for. I think we're going to track what Hamilton's doing. Tsunoda, both the Williams got to score points here. They got to score points here. They got to take their floor up. They got to raise their floor, and races like this, they got to score double points. It's just simple as that. No mistakes. So that's the wraps for today, guys. This morning, great sprint race, great quality. Make sure you tune in for the race tomorrow morning, and we'll get into the review in the next few days. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you for the race review.